This is the Trade Radio podcast for NAB, proudly fortifying Australia since 2002.
Football manager of the Brisbane Lions, Dean Warren, joins us on NAB Trade Radio right now on afl.com.au. Dean, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Ta.
Hey, Paul Connors this morning on NAB Trade Radio talking on Dane Beams. Just quickly, this is what he has to say about Dane Beams heading to your club.
At this stage, I'd like to deal exclusively with Brisbane. I have a good relationship with Scott Clayton at Gold Coast. I think for Collingwood's sake even, they'd be better off dealing with Brisbane.
Nathan Buckley's emphatic that pick four's not getting it done. Dean, where do you sit right now when it comes to Dane Beams and where you're going to have to give up to be able to get him?
Well, obviously we've got pick four, and we think that's a very good pick. As I said, we're very happy to go into the draft with pick four if that's what we did. But we think that pick four should get it done.
So pick four, in your mind right now, is enough for Dane Beams. He's an All-Australian Premiership winner, of course, a Copeland Trophy winner. But you think with the situation and him wanting to head to your football club that the leverage is probably taken a little away from Collingwood?
Well, I suppose as a club based in the northern markets of Australia, we understand that the go-home factor is something that's quite relevant for us. And we know we understand Collingwood's position probably better than most. But we believe that pick four is a very good pick very early pick and a very good pick. If you look at the players that have been taken at pick four, Marcus Bontempelli was pick four last year. So there's some very good players around that pick, and I think that if you look at what's fair and equitable, I think that's a very fair trade.
Dean, Nathan Buckley said yesterday that pick four wouldn't get it done, and he would like a like for like. So he understands an 18-year-old at pick four would be amazing, but he wants someone that can go into their midfield straight away and impact. If it come down to it, is it pick four and a player? Is there a player at Brisbane who could be offered up that could sweeten the deal?
Well, there's no way in the world we're going to actually trade, our young talent. We're about rebuilding our list. If you look at what we did last year through the trade period, where we probably nearly had 2 years of a draft in one with the amount of young talent we brought in. So, we're not about trading out our young talent. It's about building a very talented young group of players that we've started to assemble, and we're not about to trade any of those out.
Who has Collingwood asked for that you've had to say not a chance?
Well, really, we haven't had any formal discussions with Collingwood at this point, so that'll probably play out over the next week and a half, or as the exchange period starts next Monday in earnest. But as I said, we're not about to trade out any of our young talent that we've got on our list. It's about building for the future for us. So I know Collingwood are sort of not a rebuild phase, but they're sort of replenishing their list. Similar to us. So we're not about to trade out young talent that's starting to mature and get us to where we need to be.
Okay, so we come to a stalemate. Collingwood say it's a flat no to a straight swap for Dane Beams and pick four. It's just not going to get done. Are you prepared to probably miss out on Dane Beams this year because he is a contracted player at Collingwood?
Well, I think that's the point too. Obviously, he's contracted. So, as I said, we think pick four is very fair. But we do understand that Dane is contracted. From our point of view, that's something we need to consider further. But at this point, we think that pick four is a very reasonable pick, and that if we had to wait, we might have to wait until he's out of contract the following year. But we'll cross that bridge. We're talking hypotheticals at the moment. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
You keep saying pick four is a fair pick for Dane Beams. I think the football world would look at Dane Beams, who is a premiership player, a best and fairest player, a game breaker, that you're probably going to need a bit more than pick four.
Well, we'll see, won't we? I mean, obviously we'll see over the next few weeks as it plays out. But as I say, we feel it is, and I think most people understand that pick four is a very good pick in the national draft. Understandably though, that Dane is contracted, but as a club, we need to consider that, gee whiz, the pick four in the draft is a good one, and we'd be quite happy to take a young and add to another young quality player to our list if we have to do that. Is there a
5-year deal on the table for Beams from you?
Well, we haven't discussed. Obviously, we need to get a deal done, so we need to get a trade completed. But certainly Dane's at that age profile where he's 25 next year, so that certainly that wouldn't be out of the question.
What's the club put in place with the go-home factor? I mean, obviously a lot of players left your footy club last year. Has the club changed the way it's tried to handle young players to make sure that in future players don't want to go home like they did last year?
Yeah, look, we've put a lot of things in place. Certainly, it's some additional resources in relation to a number of 2 or 3 more development coaches, part-time sports psych. But really, we've ensured, Justin Leppage in particular, the environment that he's created has been outstanding, and obviously we've provided opportunities for our young guys as well. So we had 10 kids debut this year, which was an amazing result, and pleasingly, all of those young guys look like they're going to be players of the future. So it's about creating the right environment. Yes, it's a high-performance environment, but we've got to create the environment where they enjoy being around the footy club, and I think we've been able to do that. But all of our coaches have got a real duty of care, responsibility to the players as well, and that takes a little bit of workload off our welfare guys. I mean, 5% of our players are from interstate, so we understand the situation when players do want to go home. But all you can do as a club is put the resources around the playing group, make sure you're developing them, make sure their off-field is really settled as well. With Alicia Whitelock, our welfare and education coordinator, and over 95% of our guys are doing something external to footy. So whether that's study or some form of work experience or vocational training, we value that and rate that very highly, and I think that is really important as well.
If you needed to get the deal done, obviously the Gold Coast Suns are going to be circling Dane Beams because just down the road they have pick 7 and pick 14. Would it be something where you'd think about maybe pick and throwing in 4 and 24?
Well, as I say, it's all hypothetical at the moment. We haven't had a formal discussion with Collingwood and to determine what they're looking for. At this point in time, though, we pick 4 is what we're prepared to give up at the moment.
Hey, does it feel good to finally have one of these players saying they want to go home to Brisbane rather than the other way around?
Oh, look, it is nice. I mean, there's been a couple of players indicated they'd like to come to Brisbane, which is terrific. So, and obviously it's been very pleasing. We've been able to retain all of our players from the last couple of drafts as well, and we've already locked away 3 of our players from last year's draft and extended them already. So I think that goes well for us in relation to keeping our group together and building a really quality and talented group of youngsters that hopefully will progress over the next couple of years.
How about James Aish? Where do you sit with his future? He's out of contract at the end of next year. He's obviously fairly heavily chased, in particular to go home to South Australia. Are you confident that Aish will be the next one to sign on the dotted line?
Yeah, look, we are confident. Obviously, in ongoing negotiation and discussions with not only James as manager, but other managers with some of the other young guys we're still looking to extend. But yeah, look, we're reasonably comfortable that, obviously Aishi had a terrific first season. I think he enjoys Brisbane, enjoys the environment and enjoys playing, with the guys that we've got around the footy club. So, it's ongoing discussions with his manager, Liam Pickering at the moment, but we're very confident we can get something done. And
you are out of the running with Paddy Ryder. When did you find out that he'd chosen Port Adelaide?
Well, we did. We found out probably towards the end of last week after it's been a couple of days in Adelaide. But ultimately, he's in a difficult situation as well as anywhere. He's obviously contracted with Essendon, and deal needs to get done there as well. Between if he nominates Port, the deal's still got to get done. So
you're still holding out hope?
Look, I think I suppose we've probably nearly moved on. If we've got. Our ruck stocks are reasonably healthy at the moment, with the way Steph Martin finished off the year, he was exceptional. Matty Leuenberger played the last game of the year as well, after having a really injury-interrupted season. So, Matty Leuenberger is an exceptional player as well. So, and then obviously had Trent West carry the load, earlier in the year when Louis went down as well before Steph got back. And Trent will be back sort of midway through next year after he recovers from his ACL. But we've also got young Archie Smith, one of our rookies, who's going to be, we feel, is going to progress pretty well also. So, our ruck stocks are really quite healthy at the moment, and we've got some real good talent, real talented players there as well. So, obviously, if Paddy's decided Port Adelaide's where he wants to go, well, then, we'll move on and look to see what we can do in other places.
So Matthew Leuenberger, required player?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right.
Contracted, so.
Well, as always, we do appreciate your time, Dean. We know it's a very busy time. The Brisbane Lions. Some exciting news as well that Dane Beams has put his hand up and they're going to try and work towards it. Just before we let you go, how much of a play does Clay have in this situation? Are you sending him to make sure he stays in Dane's ear so he doesn't change his mind?
Yeah, well, obviously they're very close, and the family's had obviously it's been well reported that the family's had some challenges this year with illness, and they're a very close family. They're a great family, and Clay is an exceptional young person around our footy club. He his leadership capabilities and qualities with the players around his sort of peer group is exceptional. So obviously they're both Clay and Dane are very close, as you are with your brother, and no doubt Clay would love it if Dane got here. So got to our footy club and they could sort of play some footy together.
And you're confident that will happen?
Well, we are. I mean,
Yep,
ultimately, Dane's expressed an interest to return to Queensland. As I've said all along, I think that we're well positioned with Pick 4. But it's not until we sit down formally with Collingwood and work through that with them that we understand where we'll get to. But that'll all unfold over the next week or two, and hopefully we can get it done.
Dean, as always, mate, we appreciate your time on NAB Trade Radio, and hopefully we're chatting again to you real soon when you've been able to secure the services of Dane Beams, mate. Enjoy as much as you can, trade period. We'll talk soon.
Good on you. Thanks, guys.